Welcome, IGNOU aspirants. If you're prepping for your exams, you already know that Unit 3, Society and Environment, is an absolute game changer. So let's dive right in and break down everything you need to know to totally ace this section.
So here's our roadmap for this little explainer. We're going to follow your course material almost exactly, so it's perfect for revision. We'll start with poverty, then talk population and affluence, then we'll get into some crucial formulas, and we'll wrap it all up with a quick-fire revision guide. Let's get to it.
First up, let's tackle one of the most fundamental ideas in this whole unit. It's this deep and honestly often vicious cycle that ties poverty directly to the health of our environment.
Okay, write this down, highlight it, tattoo it on your brain, the poverty-environment nexus. This is a key word you absolutely have to use in your exam. It's not just some fancy term, it describes this critical two-way street. See, poverty can make environmental damage worse, and a damaged environment can push people deeper into poverty. They're totally locked together.
So how does this whole nexus thing actually work in the real world? Well, it all kicks off with the asset base of the rural poor. And look, we're not just talking about money here. This includes human resources, things like health and education. It includes natural resources, the soil, the water, and yeah, of course, financial resources too. Now, those assets, or really the lack of them, directly shape a household's behavior. Think about it. We're talking about massive decisions here. How do you make an income? What can you actually afford to eat? Can you invest in anything for the future? When your asset base is tiny, you're pretty much forced into short-term survival mode.
And that behavior, born out of necessity, is what directly impacts the environment. You know, if you need immediate income, maybe that means over-farming a small plot of land or cutting down trees for firewood. And that degrades the soil, pollutes the water, and hurts biodiversity. It damages the very resources people depend on. And boom, the cycle is complete.
Now, for a distinction that is just perfect for a short answer question on your exam, you've got endogenous poverty and exogenous poverty. Endogenous poverty is poverty caused by the environment getting worse. Imagine a farmer whose land just won't grow crops anymore. Exogenous poverty, that's caused by other stuff, like not being able to get to a market. A simple way to remember it, endo starts with E, just like environment.
So the key takeaway here is that this isn't just theory. Environmental damage slams the poor the hardest in two very real ways. First, H1, it wrecks their health. We're talking about things like polluted water or breathing in smoke from cooking fires all day. Second, H2, it crushes their productivity. I mean, if you have to walk for hours just to find firewood, that's hours you're not earning a living or taking care of your family. Okay, let's move on and build on that idea. We're bringing a huge factor into the equation now, population. And trust me, the connection here is about way more than just counting heads.
You see, the link between population and the environment, it's not so simple. It's really shaped by three key things. First, the local endowments. You know, what nature gives you to work with, like the quality of the soil. Second, the technology that's available. And third, and this one's huge, the strength of local institutions, the community groups and rules that protect these resources.
And this slide right here, this is pure exam gold. If you get a question asking about policy solutions, these three objectives are your magic words. The goal is to increase the poor's access to resources, help them improve the productivity of those resources, and, this is critical, ensure their direct involvement in managing them. Access, productivity, involvement. Remember that.
Okay, let's shift gears and tackle a more complex, kind of debated topic that comes up a lot in exams. The relationship between wealth, or affluence, and how much people actually care about the environment. Is being green a luxury?
And this slide lays out the big debate perfectly. On one side, you've got this post-materialist theory. It basically says, yeah, environmentalism is a luxury. Once a society has its basic needs covered, then people start to worry about things like the environment. But the other theory, the OPSV hypothesis, says no way. It argues that people care about the environment when they're directly hit by its problems, like dirty water or deforestation, and it doesn't matter how rich or poor they are. So, with all these moving parts, how in the world do we even try to measure our impact on the planet? Well, this brings us to two absolutely critical formulas that you have to have memorized for your exam. Seriously. And here it is, the IPAT equation. It's a really simple but super powerful way to think about our environmental impact. Impact equals population times affluence, which is basically how much stuff each person consumes, times technology. Now, to lock this in for your exam, you have to use this mnemonic: I pass all tests. Get it? I-P-A-T. I pass all tests. It's so easy to remember.
Now, to see this IPAT thing in action, check out this number. A famous study found that the use of synthetic pesticides in the U.S. skyrocketed by 266% in about 17 years. Now, population grew a bit and affluence grew a bit, but the main reason for that massive jump was the T, the new technology of chemical pesticides. It just shows you how one single factor can completely dominate the impact.
So, building on IPAT, we get the Kaya identity. The easiest way to think about this is that it's like a special, more detailed version of IPAT. It's designed specifically to analyze the drivers of climate change. It takes that T for technology and breaks it down even further, looking at how much energy we use and how many emissions that energy creates.
All right, deep breath. We have covered a lot of ground. So let's pull everything together into one final, high-impact revision slide. This is where you really want to focus, okay? Let's nail down these key takeaways. This slide right here is basically your entire unit in a nutshell. I'm not kidding. Pause this, take a screenshot, do whatever you need to do for your last-minute prep. It's got every key term, every formula, and every big idea we've talked about, from the poverty environment nexus to the IPAT mnemonic. It is all right here for you. And we'll end with a little something for you to think about, a question to take these ideas out of the textbook and into the real world. Using that IPAT framework we just learned, which factor, P, A, or T, do you think is the most critical one for India's environmental path forward? It's a great way to apply everything you've just learned. All the very best with your exams.